Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be exposing myself a little bit. I have a problem where if I put a bookmark in a book, 9 times out of 10 I will not come back to that book for a very, very long time. And I have a stack here of books that I have started but not finished. So it's actually a pretty big stack and I'm kind of embarrassed by it. But I think if I get it out into the world, maybe it'll motivate me a little bit more to pick up the books once again. So to start, this one is a little bit painful, but it is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I read Assassin's Blade. Yes, I read it first, and no, I do not regret it, because I understand the characters a lot more right now. And I understand her backstory, and I think if I would go into this book blind at the point I'm at right now, I would already be super confused and not want to continue anyway. So I'm in the middle of chapter 7. I read 45 pages in one sitting, probably took me half an hour, and I never picked it back up. I need to. I really want to read this series. I really want to get into the further books, but I also don't love YA. And this is a YA series, so the writing so far has been really cringy, and I don't know how I feel about it. I loved ACOTAR. That is one of my favorite book series of all time, and I know I'll like this. I know I'll like the maybe 4th through 7th books a lot, but I just haven't found the motivation to continue at the moment. And my friend has been on me for months, for probably over a year now, to pick up this series and finish this series. So that's the first book that I'm pretty disappointed in myself for not finishing. And then I have Game of Thrones. I am on page 380, chapter 35. I wrote the chapters in because I don't like not knowing. So I went through and wrote every single number. So I listened to most of this because it takes me a very long time to actually read these books. So yeah, I'm on page 380. And I just haven't picked it back up. The audiobook got sent back to the library, so I just never kept listening and then just haven't picked it back up. I need to. I want to read this series, but I think at this point it's probably going to be more of a winter into next year read. And then I have Empire of the Vampire. I read 156 pages of this. I annotated this in depth. Like, I really was enjoying this book. I really liked the writing. I love the images that it has in it. And I don't know. I just never picked it back up. It's one of those ones that it's just, I really was enjoying it. I think I'm going to love it if I continue and finish it. I just never continued. And it's kind of sad. So I'm almost on part 3, which I didn't even realize. But I only have this much left to get to part 3. I think it's like 30 pages maybe. Or 20 pages until I'm on part 3. I've been enjoying it. I just never picked it back up. I think I started it in January or February and just never continued. The next book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I will probably restart this one. I only got 30 pages in. I'm literally on chapter 2. I read one chapter just right when I got the book, was really enjoying it, and then never picked it back up. I have a problem. If I throw a bookmark, like most of the ones that you will see today have either bookmarks or tabs. And as soon as I throw those in there, I probably will not gravitate towards that book again. I'm one of the people that love to just sit and binge read an entire book in one sitting. And with like 800-page books, like, I know that's not feasible. Have I done it before? Yes. I literally binge read Court of Silver Flames in less than 24 hours. I read that and A Court of Frost and Starlight back to back. Started A Court of Frost and Starlight at like 9 p.m. Finished that, picked up A Court of Silver Flame, read a good chunk of that, went to bed, and then when I woke up the next morning, I read until I finished that book. And in total, it was less than 24 hours. And then I have Billy Summers. I read 95 pages of this a couple months ago. Or I think I read it in August, actually. But, like, I read 95 pages, was loving it, thought it was a super cool concept, really enjoyed what was happening and getting to know our characters. I'm on chapter 6. I've annotated, I've highlighted and put some tabs in, and then I picked up a different book, forgot this existed. Object permanence is not my friend. So if I put a book down, say like in my other room, on my bedroom counter, wherever, I probably won't pick it back up because I will forget that the book exists and I will forget that I was enjoying it. Okay, and then another Stephen King that I was really, really into is The Wastelands. This is the third book in the Dark Tower series. I made it 315 pages in. And I even bought the fourth book to force me to continue. I think I read this much in like 2 days. Like 300 some pages in 2 days. It's just, I have not grabbed it again. It's just, I don't know. I'm saying the same things over and over, but I will say I was enjoying this one. I want to continue so I can pick up the fourth book this month. The fourth book is on my September TBR. I don't know if I'll get to it at this point because it's already September 9th and I have not, is it the 9th? Yeah, it's September 9th. I have not read hardly at all this month. So the next book is Divine Rivals. I don't know if this cover gives it away because I took the dust jacket off. So I am on chapter 8 and I read it all in one sitting to the point where I'm at. And then that night I put the bookmark in, I put it down, and I have not felt an urge to pick it back up. I was enjoying it. I don't know if I was enjoying it as much as other people say they enjoy this book. I don't know. I think it was moving a little slow for me. And I think the storyline of Roman wasn't my favorite. Like, I liked him as a person, but I hated his home life and his parents and stuff, so I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. Iris was kind of annoying. Roman was eh. So I think that's probably why I haven't picked this one back up. I love her writing. Like, Rebecca Ross's writing is really great. I think it's fun. I like the concept and all that. I just don't think I liked the characters I don't think I was connecting with the characters. So like this one I think has a reason why I never picked it back up, but I don't know. I'll have to pick it back up soon though because my friend read it and really, really loved it. So it's kind of motivating me to pick it back up and read the rest of it. We will see though. Maybe that is one I'll have to do on audio. I think my library has it on audiobook. Next is Mistborn. I am 3 chapters in. I really, really, really love Brandon Sanderson. His writing is absolutely fantastic. Everything I've read by him has been 4 or 5 stars. And I want to read this. I want to get into it. I want to get into the Cosmere. I think I'm afraid. I think I'm afraid to commit to so many books and so many pages of books because I love statistics and spreadsheets and math and all that stuff. So I calculated the Cosmere. Calculated how many books and how many pages and how much I would have to read every month to be able to finish the Cosmere in a certain amount of months. Is that going to happen? No, it's not. I would like to finish this book before the end of the year. I would like to start the Mistborn series by the end of the year. Also, I like how they redid the covers, but why is this not called The Final Empire anymore? My European version still calls it The Final Empire, and I don't know why they changed that. It's just called Mistborn. Anyway, that's a tangent. So next is Dance of Thieves. I got to page like 40. Did not like what I read so far. I just think it's really slow. I was so confused. Could not keep track of any of the characters. Could not understand what was going on. So yeah, I'm 40 pages in. Not my favorite book ever. Might continue, might unhaul. I'm not 100% sure yet. Convince me one way or the other. Should I unhaul this or should I push through and like actually get into the story more? That's Dance of Thieves. That's reasons why I haven't picked it back up. I just haven't been interested in it. I'm just afraid that I'm never going to understand who the characters are, and that'll be that. So next I have Red Rising. I got it from the library last year. Read the first 5-ish chapters, and then the library needed it back, so I put it back into the library system and then never picked it back up. I bought the book. I own it. I don't know if this is going to be I put it on a TBR and pick it up. I think this is just going to be a me spur of the moment grabbing it, reading the whole thing, realizing that I actually love it, and then picking up the rest of the series. That's what it's going to have to be. I know it's what it's going to have to be. When will I get to it? No clue. Should I get to it sooner rather than later? Probably. I know everybody that I've heard read it has absolutely loved this series, and I want to be part of that. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what the hype is about, but I'm also one of those people that gets afraid of hype. If I see a book that's super hyped, I probably will take my time and not pick it up. Anyway, so that was that book. That was Red Rising. The next one on my list is a Penguin classic, and this isn't from lack of trying. This is from lack of understanding. This book sounds hilarious. It sounds great. I think technically all of these are a lesson that this guy has learned. Can I explain that? No, I have no idea what this book's about. I just thought it sounded really interesting. I saw it on a YouTube channel. I thought it sounded funny, and I picked it up. I was very intrigued, but I soon learned that I don't understand a lot of the words that this book uses. And I think that's a me problem, not an it problem. I will read this when I've learned a little bit more and read a little bit more to get my vocabulary up. Maybe I think I honestly should probably read more classics to better understand the language used and all that. This is a Brazilian classic that was translated, so that also might be why I'm not understanding it super well. So next is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This book just fell into the vein of I picked it up, I read about 3 chapters, realized it was fine, and then put it down. I don't know. I know a lot of people love this series. I know a lot of people recommend you start with Lauren Asher with this series. I just couldn't get myself to read it at first. Like, I got to the point where they met in the auditorium, and that's about it. And I think I want to continue it, but at that time, I was not into fluffy romance. I don't really love fluffy romance to begin with, and I know Lauren Asher is more of a stereotypical romance. I'm more of a dark romance, like the Cat and Mouse duet, or I like Alina May a lot. She's a dark romance author that I really love. I don't know. I just don't like a fluffy, happy-go-lucky romance. But that's a me problem also. But I think I want to continue the series. I want to continue this book, finish this book, and maybe I'll like it enough to continue into Terms and Conditions. The concept's cool. It's not the concept that I don't like. It's just, I don't know, not my favorite. It wasn't my cup of tea when I was reading it. I remember I put it down and got my Kindle out and started a Sophie Lark book instead. Like, that is my memories of that book. Speaking of Sophie Lark, There Are No Saints. I'm on page 87. I read it all in one sitting. I'm on chapter 8. And this is one where I put the bookmark in, and the thought of going back to it was giving me anxiety, so I didn't continue. I know it's going to end up well. I know it's going to be fine. It's just, it makes me feel sick to think about going back to this book. And I was enjoying it. I don't know. Am I the only one that has that problem where, I start thinking about how the book is going to go, and I get anxious, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to pick it up right now because I don't want to have to go through a third act breakup or whatever. That's what a lot of romance books fall victim to with me, is I don't want to have to go through the third act breakup, so I put the book down at 200 pages out of 350 or whatever, and then I never pick it back up. That's that one. And then finally, I have City of Brass. It wasn't the story. I was enjoying the story. I really enjoyed the story a lot. I was highlighting and annotating though, so that's fun. I think this book, it's not the story that I wasn't enjoying, it's the font of the book. It makes it super hard to read, and I know that I'm one of those people that get really picky with a font. And this font, not good. This is the same font that Divine Rivals uses. And I couldn't read that one either. So I think that's my problem also, is that I have to have a certain way a book is set up, like font-wise and all that this just didn't make me want to pick it back up. So those are my 14 books of shame that I have started but never finished. If you would like me to read any of those books, or if any of these are your favorite books, let me know. I'm going to pick them back up eventually. I just need the motivation. So motivate me to read them. Depending on what is said, maybe I'll read a couple for a video of finishing books that I've started but never finished. Anyway, that's all for today. I will see you next time. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.